U.S. Army is failing to keep pace with technology, RAND paper claims. Vano Shlamov Getty Images. Despite outspending both Russia and China on national security, the U.S. military may lose its next war due to a lack of adequate training and a failure to keep the pace with changes in modern technology, according to newly released report from RAND Corporation. In an analysis published Sunday, 10 December, the U.S. nonprofit organization issued a damning indictment of the America's military forces, calling on the administration of U.S. President Donald Trump to reassess the nation's defense strategy and security posture. The report warned U.S. forces could, under plausible assumptions, lose the next war they are called upon to fight, despite the United States outspending China on military forces by a ratio of 2.71 and Russia by 61. It added the nation needs to do better than this. RAND's researchers said mounting challenges, North Korea's nuclear ambitions, Russia's use of military power against its closest neighbors, and the so-called Islamic State ISIS, are putting a strain on resources. It found that, when taken collectively, the series of national defense issues represent the major elements of an international security environment that is more complex and more dangerous than that to which Americans have been accustomed since the end of the Cold War. In its summation, U.S. and allied forces lack satisfactory answers when facing off against North Korea and, despite claiming recent wins, will be fighting jihadist groups for years to come. The report claimed the U.S. has a military that is larger than needed to fight a single major war. Worse, analysts said it is failing to keep pace with the modernizing forces of great power adversaries, poorly postured to meet key challenges in Europe and East Asia, and insufficiently trained and ready to get the most operational utility from many of its active component units. It added if adversaries perceive U.S. military as inadequate to the task of deterring and defeating coercion or aggression, the viability of this nation's entire national security strategy and, indeed, the rules-based liberal order that it has promoted for more than 70 years, will be called into question. In recent months, tensions have spiked between the U.S. and Russia, especially since the covert influence campaign allegedly launched by Moscow during the 2016 presidential election. U.S. intelligence has said the rival country's president, Vladimir Putin, likely ordered the operation. According to the RAND analysis, the situation is only set to become more dire. Changes are needed to keep pace, warns report. Reuters. It read Putin has shown himself willing to take advantage of the United States' entanglement in the Middle East and the advantage of geographic proximity. His modernization of Russian forces has made them equal to or in some respects superior to NATO forces, including those of the U.S. He also appears willing to use hybrid warfare tactics to intimidate and undermine bordering states. While in-depth analysis of potential scenarios involving Russian aggression against NATO's eastern flank has only recently begun, it is clear that in many plausible scenarios, NATO forces, as postured today, would be unable to defeat or even meaningfully impede a sizable combined arms invasion aimed at occupying the Baltic capitals. In future, researchers said the U.S. Department of Defense should invest more money into systems that can detect mobile military forces and concepts that boost capabilities in space. These, they noted, would be used to boost positioning, timing, communications and surveillance. The research paper was titled U.S. Military Capabilities and Forces for a Dangerous World, Rethinking the U.S. Approach to Force Planning. It was conducted by RAND's International Security and Defense Policy Center, which is part funded by the U.S. federal government. Of course, the U.S. government is investing in next-gen warfare for its combat forces, and recently touted the development of its new B-21 stealth bomber, also known as the Raider. Other projects like the U.S. Navy's electromagnetic railgun, despite years of tests, lurk in development hell. Change is happening, but the main question now for the US is if it is happening quickly enough.